Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. It's sort of rainy here in Atlanta, but it's supposed to be a nice warm day. Just want to welcome everyone to our presentation this morning. We are so excited to have RBC Wealth Management here. And just, per usual for our Friday chats, please feel free to ask questions, engage. We are so lucky to have these presenters and they are here for you. So if you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out, and you can either unmute yourself, you can put it into the chat, and I will turn it over to Violet from RBC.
Good morning. So good to be here at Clark Atlanta this morning. Really excited. This is actually the second time we've come, and really enjoyed the chat the last time, and really hoping that you see value in us coming in and really engaging with you. And really the goal is for us to get to know you and to share a little bit more about RBC. So really quick intro about who we are. RBC Wealth Management has provided trusted advice and wealth management solutions to individuals, families, and institutions for over a century now. We're a global organization, and so we are part of the Royal Bank of Canada. And we bring diverse expertise and knowledge to the sophisticated financial needs of our clients around the world. Today, we have Roland Kaume and Roshana Gordon here to talk about their own personal journeys at RBC. I do know that they both have really unique journeys and a lot to share that I think some of you could relate to in terms of just how you move from a career that, at the beginning, you're not sure if this is where you're going to end. And then, of course, end up in a place that that is fulfilling. So I think it will be really nice to hear from both of them. For today, we will start off with Roland to share his own journey. I think it's really an awesome story. And then Roshana will share some of the cool things that she's experienced as well at RBC. And so thank you so much, everyone, for being here and for listening. And we're just really excited to join in on this conversation. Roland, take it away.
All right. Good morning. Thank you, Violet. Thank you, Camilla. And thank you, everyone, for taking the time to attend this session. And I hope that you find value in, hearing our stories. My name is Roland Kwame. I am RBC Wealth Management as Business Initiatives Manager. In my current role, I work with about almost 300 firms that use RBC as a back office for banking for their wealth management needs. So we do the back office. They put their logo on it, and so it's a very interesting and kind of niche business where every client of yours is very different. So I'm going to tell you how I maneuvered or navigated to get to where I am now. So background, I'm French, born and raised in Paris, Afro-Caribbean parents. I moved to the US for my first round for high school. It was New York, and that's why I sound like this instead of a French accent. And then I did my undergrad in Montreal because I was still attached to my French language, and I felt that it was important that I learn in a language that I can understand. Then went to Toronto, still in Canada, for my grad school. So for undergrad, I did math and computer science. And for grad school, I did financial engineering and financial investment analysis in Toronto. And I started working for RBC in Toronto. When I graduated, I realized that there was, based on my internships, there was a big chance that I would end up behind a computer and do Excel all day, and that was very depressing. My internships were in insurance companies, and with my personality, I realized that yes, I have the skills to do those jobs, in insurance, but is it for me? I mean, I talk a lot and I like to make friends and I like to just influence people and just help them. So really, is my place behind a computer? No. And I'm glad I realized that early on. And I joined a cash management team where they would analyze products and services and make recommendations for how to improve them. Um, so that kind of was outside of my field. And initially I was thinking, oh God, I went to school for math and here I am in cash management. What is this? I quickly realized that it's all about your set of skills, right? So you pretty much write down everything that you can do and you look at it and you look at the contribution that, that your education has made to it. And then you go from there. It's not because you did biology that you need to be a biologist, and it's not because you did English that you need to be an Englishist or something. Your education will contribute to the bigger package of who you are. And for me, the math, it was really about the logical approach, the structured approach to analysis and critical thinking, and that could be applied to many things. So there was no need for me to pigeonhole myself and be specifically in a company where I do exactly what I learned in my bachelor's or my master's. So that was one big realization that I'm glad I made early because it kind of drove everything else that happened after. So I went from cash management to project management overall in the Toronto project delivery office, and started working on all kinds of products. And that's how I ended up with working for wealth management for a project. When you're in school, there are tons of jobs that you don't know exist, like project manager, business analyst, quality assurance, release manager. All these technology jobs don't necessarily, and I mean, things might have changed, right? I'm old. I graduated a little while back, but technically, when I graduated, there was no really big spotlight on jobs in the project management field. And I didn't know that they even existed or what background was required to get into them until I started working and realized that, oh, someone is an English major and someone else is a history major. And here we are working together because, again, our skills allow us to do this, right? It's not, you don't have to do business analysis in undergrad to do business analysis at work. It's just, are you capable of analyzing business based on your background? So that's where I was in the project management office with people from different backgrounds and realizing that my career was pretty wide open and that I would have to build the set of skills that I need to get where I want to be, except for NASA, because if you want to go into space, might figure that out kind of early on. It's not something that you figure out into the job. So I worked in technology and project management, started doing this project for wealth management, learned a whole bunch of things. And then RBC acquired this bank called City National in the US. And that's when a bunch of US opportunities opened up. And I had the opportunity to transfer to Minneapolis to work on the US side as a business analyst. Joined Minneapolis office in 2015. And it was a completely different environment. Same company, but completely different environment. Wealth management in the US is not wealth management in Canada. And doing projects for everyone is not the same as being specifically in wealth management now. I couldn't just get away with, just repeating cool lines that I heard. I had to know wealth management. So I took courses. I had I got a mentor. I asked for memberships to online resources that I could use to learn. And again, made my way there by realizing what skills do I need to go, to do this job properly. I started as a business analyst, move on to a senior role, and then over time, your work gets recognized. You get feedback from people. You hear positive things, and you use that to kind of shop yourself around and just tell people that you're here and you have all these skills. And I landed the job where I am now, which is a business initiatives manager, which is a fantastic role for me because it combines project management with some business analysis, some sales, and a whole bunch of it's pretty much all the things that I listed when I look at my skills and I look at the job description. I felt like, okay, this is me. My interview took 10 minutes. Really on the record, everything else was just, hey, where do you want to sit? And these are the projects that we have. What do you want to work on first? There was no need to talk too much about my skills because I had already done the job of presenting my work and my projects to pretty much everyone who wanted to hear it. I'm very vocal, and I will sell myself in the company, so that nobody was discovering me in that meeting. So the reason I even bring this up is because that's another thing that you don't necessarily realize when you're in school. You think that sometimes that you will go for a company and that they'll recognize your work and then they'll give you promotions based on what you've done. When no, people sitting on their desks and they don't necessarily know what you're doing, and it's not bad to put yourself out there and to get a mentor, a coach, or whoever you need to make sure that people know what you're doing. We want to be humble, but we also want to be recognized for what we're doing, and be compensated fairly for it. That's another topic. So that's pretty much how I moved from Canada into the US. It was very much so me writing down what I wanted and me writing down the steps that I needed to get there, and going to a bunch of people and finding the right people to help me get to my goals. That's kind of like, I think you see the theme here with me is that I'm saying take charge of your career progression, take charge of your education, which is why I'm glad that these sessions are happening so you can hear it from us. In the work field, you're responsible for finding out whatever it is that you want to do and getting there and getting the right people to support you to get to where you need to be, as opposed to, oh, they'll find out I'm doing a great job and they'll give me what I need. That will not happen. That's just me. Now, on the my perspective on the financial industry and how I even got where I am now, it's rough out there. In terms of diversity, as a Black man, the navigation is quite intense. So initially, I mean, I was young and I was definitely investing time and energy in being a non-threatening Black man, so that people, in the office will want to socialize with me and would feel like I'm a teddy bear and I'm just like all love and hugs, and I'm a safe one. That was early on in my career, trying to make sure that I have those opportunities. I've since then thankfully learned and grown enough to know that you should definitely, number one, let your work speak for you. And that has been my number one tool, or my number one weapon, has been to move forward and navigate, the rough waters, has been the work. Like when they see the work, like it has to be undeniable, right? Like it's like, you have to be good at what you do. Like you can't afford not to be good at what you do in this environment. So that when the opportunity comes, like nobody could deny that this is it. This is this guy. This guy deserves that role. Overall, or as time progressed, I've also learned that it's really the quality of the people that you have around you, and you're not alone. So having the right mentor and the right sponsor change everything. So not sure if everyone for all the students know the difference between mentor and sponsor, but in the workplace, your mentor is the person that will guide you around. Like it's someone you can talk to about what's going on and where you want to go next, and they're that career coach. Your sponsor is someone who is in those upper levels and who could actually, whenever they hear your name, put in a good word for you, right? If it's a choice between you and someone else, they will always be out there protecting you and defending you and pushing you up. And those two can be the same, but it's even better if they're not, so that sometimes in the room there's two people advocating for you. I found that those two roles, or those two things, were as crucial as getting the job done. So navigating the wealth management world is difficult. Historically, wealth management is definitely old, traditional, old white money. And people just trust the people who look like them. Like, just let's be honest, people trust people who live in the same neighborhood, the same zip codes, and and make them feel safe. So recently, there has been progress made on diversity, equity, inclusion, and thankfully there is progress made to recognize the work done by different people and the contribution that diverse candidates bring, and the fact that having different perspectives actually ends up resulting in a better product, better deliverables. And when you can have a 360 around the room and get all these different perspectives, and then you get to a sound product that you could go out there and sell confidently, as opposed to just always working from the perspective of one group. I'm definitely glad that progress has been made in that space, but there is still a whole lot to do. And it's a good time to join, and I mean, our field, and I'm going to say RBC because that's what I know, because we have resources at our disposal and advocates and allies, and I feel like there's a spotlight right now on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and we definitely want to hop on board and amplify voices and make sure that all these efforts are made to stay, so that like this becomes permanent. Like this should not be a phase where diversity becomes a trendy thing for a little bit and then we go back to the way things were. We are here to help you. We are here to give you advice. We want to see you guys join us. It's definitely not a situation where we're like, oh, who are these other people? I'm here now. No, we want more of us. We want more of you to join us to help build a real, true, diverse work environment. I'll feel better when my work environment looks like what I see outside, because when outside is diverse and then I'm walking and then I become the the minority again, it doesn't make sense. So that's all we want. We want the inside to match outside, right? For everyone to be given a fair shot. So if you guys are interested in our field and specifically our company, I'm definitely, and I know Roshana, who's about to come up next, is as well, available to talk more about what we struggled with, to give you advice, to guide you, to be mentors, and to support you in your career progression. That was a lot of English. Like, for someone who speaks French primarily, that was a lot of words, and I'm proud of myself. So I hope that you guys found some value to everything that I just said, because I used a lot of level 3 words.
Thank you, Roland. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Roland. I think that was awesome. And thank you so much for just sharing your story. What a journey. I mean, from Paris to New York to Montreal, and now you're back in the US. And I think all of those experiences just allow us to even become more of who we are, right? And so even within that, I would say, as we look at, after graduation, something to think about is not limiting ourselves to opportunities, just surrounding where you are in your zip code. I think my story is a little bit similar in terms of my own movement, from East Africa to the US, and then to South Africa, and then back to the US, and even including Atlanta and all of that, although I'm in Minneapolis right now. And so it is very important to just take that step, be brave, and know that opportunity is waiting on the other side. And if you're not open to it, then it might just be a little bit difficult. Roland also shared the importance of relationships, right? Mentorships and sponsorship. And that is something at RBC that we push for our early talent, to ensure that they have connections to that. We do have a sponsorship program, and basically what that means is we do identify high performing talent and ensure that they do have leaders that actually can support what they're trying to achieve. You just have to have a plan, right? You just need to have an idea of what you want to do. You may not actually know everything about what you want to do, but what ends up happening is a sponsor actually is able to provide opportunity and put you on projects, which makes it a little bit different from a mentor who you go and talk to. But a sponsor is actually somebody who internally can advocate on your behalf and get you in front of leaders. So it is definitely something that we push so hard for at RBC to ensure that you do get the right opportunities, you get the right projects, and that is has been one of our most successful programs in assisting our early talent individuals. So that's all I'll say a little, about that. So we're
Violet,
waiting.
on this same topic, I wanted to just drive down the importance of mentors and sponsors and say that when I first started working in Montreal, my first company was saying you will get a desktop, you have to be at this desk, you need to be in the office until 4 p.m. Nobody leaves before 4 p.m. and you start at this salary. And I went to my mentor and I was like, what? I thought, I could work from home a little. I thought I would have a BlackBerry. That's how, back then. I thought, I'd have a BlackBerry. This is not cool. Like, who gets a desktop? Like, what is this? And my mentor was saying, yeah, you are correct. This is very, this is not the norm these days. The norm is that you have flexibility in your environment. So I felt that I wasn't crazy, and that's what drove my move from Montreal. That was very traditional in the way they moved to Toronto, where I showed up day one, and they said, we hope you don't want to sit in this office because we don't have any chairs. And so having a mentor to actually help me realize what's realistic or not helped a lot. Got to Toronto, got my laptop, got to work from home, and those things were important to me. And my mentor was instrumental in making sure that I didn't limit myself. And I think it's something that I discussed with Violet before, where sometimes we think, let me get my foot through the door and we'll see after. That's a big mistake of not having realistic expectations or not being able to set the terms for what you want early on, because once you're in a role, companies typically want you to progress, step by step. There's no jumping unless you leave and come back. It becomes very hard, and you become stuck in a place. So it's very important to know realistically what you can offer, what you should be compensated for. Know your package and what it's worth, and have a mentor tell you early on if that's realistic, so you can start where you deserve to start, as opposed to just wanting to be in a company in any capacity and thinking that you will move from there, because that might actually affect your mental health, right? To be stuck in a place where you're not progressing. So mentors, super instrumental in finding out what you're actually worth and what you should do. Second and last example is when I wanted to move in the pandemic, realized that I have nobody in Minneapolis, and I said, hey, it's cold. I don't know anybody here. Why am I here? And my mentor was instrumental in saying that, yeah, people are moving, and this is how you should approach the discussion about maybe relocating, right? And it's not too much what you're asking for. And that was great advice. And now I'm here living in Dallas. It is definitely warmer. 28 degrees is considered cold. I'm sitting here looking at my neighbors go crazy thinking it's the apocalypse, when I'm used to minus 25 and walking to work. And these people think 28 degrees is cold. That's what I wanted. I want 28 degrees to be cold. That's that's the environment that we in. So again, mentors, sponsors, having the right people support you and help you move through. And last but not least, making the right connection, having friends that that help you do that sanity check. Me having Roshana that I could just walk to and say, girl, did you see what just happened? And she just gives me that look, that black mom, like, and that's it. I'm set. I know someone else saw what I saw. I'm not crazy. It's very important to have allies to help you understand that you're not crazy every day, so you can survive these corporate realms.
Absolutely. No, thank you so much. Very insightful information, and just love that you're able to just say it as is. Really appreciate that transparency, because I think when you're trying to navigate, early career, as we know, some of the students that we have on here today, I think it can be daunting. It can be really daunting to know that you're going to be out there and you might be on your own. But the goal, especially just being at RBC, from my own experience, is to not have you feel like you are alone. So Roland is going to be basically availing himself to any students that might be interested in further conversations. So thank you so much for that offer, Roland. We definitely appreciate it, and I'm sure the students will as well. And so moving on, we will have Roshana. She's had an incredible career so far at RBC, and she's going to be telling us her story. And I think after that, we'll just open it up to Q&A, just really open conversation today. Any questions, nothing is off limits. We're just here to support you in whatever capacity that you need. And so Roshana, we're excited to have you today, and take it away. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Violet. I apologize, everybody. I was trying to figure out my camera, and so unfortunately it's just still not working. So we'll just move ahead. But I am so happy to be presenting today. I told Violet this, which she did not know this until I told her. But when I was applying to colleges, I actually applied to Clark Atlanta University, and I ended up getting in, but I ended up getting pregnant. So I ended up staying at home and going to a college in Minnesota. So it's funny how stuff comes back full circle that I didn't even know was going to happen. So I am super excited to talk to all of y'all about RBC. So just to give you a little bit of background on me, I actually graduated college with a journalism major. So at that point, I'm like, I want to be in the news. I want to, tell everything that's going on around the world as far as, just everything. But when I was getting ready to graduate, maybe like 3 months before, I don't know why I didn't think of this before I graduated, there was a story that my professor who worked for one of the local news stations was telling us about a woman that she was going to find, and she thought that she found this person, and it turns out she didn't. It was unfortunately a search. And so when she was telling the story at that moment, I was like, that's not going to be the right job for me, because I would be crying at some of these stories. And with my personality, I just can't handle that. But it was time for me to graduate. So I graduated. Now, while I was in college, I worked part-time at a bank. And so initially I was a teller, and then I became a fraud specialist. And so I saw a job opportunity at RBC for a fraud specialist, and I applied for that job at RBC. So when I applied for the job, got the job interview, had that, it went well. By the time I left the interview, I was downstairs. The HR people called me, and they were like, hey, we got some news for you. We just want to let you know you didn't get the job because they're going to promote somebody internally to the job that has been working it. But we would like to replace you with that person. So you can take that person's job if you would be interested. And so that's kind of how I got in the door at RBC. And so it was a customer service role, basically helping clients with their finances. I like to talk as well. I will never not have a job not talking to people, because that's just my personality. And so I did that job actually for all of my career, probably 10, 11 years. And I eventually became the manager and ran the department and all of that. So we help financial advisors and their clients with the website. We help them with their visa. We help them with bill pay. We help them with checks and balances and a bunch of other stuff that we help them with. The great thing about RBC is, even though it's a big company, it kind of feels like you have this small community, because you'll realize once you start working here is that the people that you talk to the same people all the time. So even the same thing for the clients when they call here as well. So you kind of get to know people on a personal level. So moving forward, three or 4 years ago, I forgot when I became a trainer. 3 or 4 years ago, I love to tell this story because I personally feel that relationships building is one of the most important things. A lot of times with finding jobs, you find them from other people, not necessarily other ways. So just be open when you're looking for jobs and how to find them, just in general terms. So anyway, I went to this wedding. And when I was at the wedding, you're at a wedding, you have fun. I didn't think anything of it after I left the wedding. 6 months later, I got an email about coffee. And so I had coffee, and literally a few days later, I had a new job as a trainer. So I left work Friday, not knowing I was going to have another job the next week. So my point is like, you just never know what opportunities are going to come to you, because you just don't. And so that's why, relationship building is so important. Like Roland, I've also had multiple mentors. My most recent mentor is Ann Sinney. She's I think she's like the president, or she has some title up, but she basically worked with me every month, and we would talk about my goals and what I'm doing in my current department. And so I also think mentors are very important. She's not the only mentor I had. I had another one a couple of years ago where he was an attorney at RBC. And so I know with a lot of people that I talk to, just, when I'm out roaming around, everybody thinks that I have a degree in finance. I don't have any degree in finance. I have a journalism major. You do not need a degree in finance to work at RBC. It all depends on the job that you want. Now, my current role, which is a trainer, right now I'm actually in Dallas, Texas as well, training people. So my current job right now is to help financial advisors integrate technology into their book of business. So as Roland said, we have a lot of older people that are financial advisors that work here. So they're some of them are not as great with technology as others. So that's why you have jobs for people like me who teach them basically how to learn the technology. And what's nice about it is, kind of like my other role, in customer service, you get to build even a more personable relationship with people. So when I came down here, a couple people in the office were like, "Hey, I remember you from when you worked on the customer service desk." And I'm like, "Yeah, you got a good memory." Even when I was in Houston a couple of weeks ago, people are like, "I remember when you worked in this other area." So it really is a small, homey company where you really get to know people and they really get to know you, and there's endless opportunities. And going back on the relationship track, I encourage everybody to follow me on Instagram, or sorry, not Instagram, LinkedIn, wrong social media, too many of them. Follow me on LinkedIn because I post jobs all the time. I actually had a financial advisor reach out to me, actually two of them recently, one in Minneapolis, one in New Jersey. One of them is looking for an assistant to help them with their book of business. So again, they were like, "Hey, do you know somebody that can help me? I know you travel around and you know a lot of people. Can somebody help me?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'll see, who's looking for something in the financial field." So there is one person in Minneapolis that's looking for somebody to assist. There is somebody I know in New Jersey, Florham Park specifically. I don't know if there's anybody from New Jersey in here that's looking for somebody to help him right now. For his specific role, you do need a financial background because they're looking for something specific. So it really all depends on what you are looking to do. If you move to Minneapolis, you can have unlimited possibilities with operations. However, that's not the only jobs we offer. I mean, we have places in California. I personally, well, before my job kind of switched a couple of months ago, I traveled all around the United States. And so we have branches in multiple states that you can work in. So it's not just one place. I'm making the assumption that some of you probably will still stay in Atlanta after you graduate. And I'm making the assumption that some of you will move other places. So the great thing about RBC is we have places all over where you can take that opportunity to find something that fits for you. So just like Roland, I am also offering mentorship. So if you would like to be mentored by me, feel free to reach out. Rashana Gordon, again, that is me on LinkedIn, or you can reach out to Violet. She can also make that connection as well. But we definitely are looking for, more people to join. You don't have to have a financial background. You can use your skills for other things. Just like Roland said, he gave you a great example of talking about what he wrote down for himself as far as his skills and applying that to what he currently does right now. The last thing I'll say is, before I got my degree in journalism, I actually thought about being a teacher. So when I first went to school, I'm like, I think I want to be a teacher before I switched to journalism. I was a student teacher for elementary school. So I basically was a student teacher and taught the kids how to do math and how to do reading. But I eventually decided to switch to journalism because I'm like, you know what? I can volunteer to be a teacher and do a journalism and possibly make a little bit more money in journalism. Obviously, journalism didn't work out. But what's funny is even though I'm not a teacher, that also is a moment that circled back for me too, because I am technically teaching, but I'm not teaching kids. I'm teaching adults how to learn this technology, how to think about the policies and just think about how they want to run their book and give them some different ideas. So if you enjoy stuff like that, maybe something in my role may work for you. Also in my role, you have to like to travel, which I do. I try to go places all the time. I'm actually going to London in a couple of weeks. So I love to travel. So if you like stuff like that, you could do it too. There's also financial planning. If you like to financial plan, you can do that. If you like to talk to customers, you can do something like that. There's just so many different roles that you can do. So really think about what do you think you want to do? And it's okay to change your mind. I went from wanting to be a teacher to being a journalist and to doing what I'm doing now, which is teaching adults. So again, I reach out. If you want a mentor, I'm definitely here. Please look me up on LinkedIn, and I will throw it back to Violet for anybody who has any questions.
Roshana, thank you so much. That was so powerful. Loved hearing your story and just how you shared that, just coming from journalism to where you are right now. And I think that's one of the things I think about in my own journey when I was beginning my career, and the anxiety around, well, this is what I went to school for, and how does that transition into maybe something different? Maybe I don't want to do that. And I do know that just like the students we have today, I graduated from business school, went to the University of Minnesota, Carlson School of Management. And I actually had a double major with English literature as well, because I was just like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. And so here I am. Of course, I work in diversity on diversity initiatives, and what that entails really is ensuring that there is more BIPOC talent coming into RBC, because there isn't a shortage of BIPOC talent. I really don't believe that. And what some of the issues that we have in terms of the challenges themselves is understanding how to serve this specific community, how to target the community, how to build those relationships, because what ends up happening, again, like Roland and Roshana shared, this relationships and what role that relationships play into us getting opportunities. And by us, I mean Black people. And so there isn't a shortage. We can do the work. We have the skill set. It's just that we need more connection. And that is why we're here today, in terms of wanting to let you know that the financial industry, as historically as we know that it's been mostly inaccessible, in reality, there definitely is work that's being done to change that. And that's part of why I'm in this role at RBC. I'm very passionate about changing that trajectory for early talent and ensuring that you have opportunity to consider the financial industry. I know you work so hard, just even thinking about business school for myself. There's just a whole lot that I had to get through in order to graduate. So we don't want any of our potential student talent to think that there is an opportunity available. And so it is the access that's needed. And that's why it's important. And we really appreciate Clark Atlanta inviting us to ensure that we share our own stories here to tell you that we are here in these corporate environments and we're ready to support you in whatever capacity. We would love to actually open it up to questions so that whatever might be on your mind that you've been trying to navigate, Roland is here to help answer that. Roshana is here, and I can definitely chip in as well if necessary. So Camilla, do you want to maybe take over from me and just kind of run the Q&A from here on?
Yes, of course. Anything I can do to help. Students, this is your time. Ask all the questions.
I have a question.
Go for it.
Okay, so you guys came from different backgrounds. So what was the training process like once you got into the company?
Can I go first, Roland?
Of course.
Okay. So for me, I'll go back to my previous role and then I'll come back to my current role. So because I worked at the bank, it was kind of similar going into that customer service role. I mean, I did do fraud at the bank, but like as far as like balances and all that other stuff, it was similar. So with any role that you get, just in general, you'll always have to get trained, no matter what the education is, because you got to learn how people do their stuff. And so when I was in operations, I basically had I'll call it a buddy basically that took me under her wings and just taught me about like the systems and the procedures. And they have we have this thing called InfoNet that you can go and look at the procedures and stuff like that. So it was a combination of reading, a combination of getting trained by a colleague, with a combination of learning on your own. And I can say the same thing for my current role. So as I told you, I wasn't necessarily looking for a job when I got this current role. And my only experience before my current role was the wealth management online desk, helping the clients. My current role, I have to know everything about every single technology system that we have, because I never know what a financial advisor is going to ask me ever. I don't know until I get there. Sometimes they'll say one thing and then you get there and then they're like, actually, I don't need help with that anymore. I need help with this. And so to answer your question with this role, it was kind of the same thing. I had two people who were instrumental in helping me learn the technology. So part of it was going back to that InfoNet system that I just told you about and looking at the training videos on that, also reading. And then I would say what helps me personally the most is learning as I go, like on the job. Because for me, I can read all day, I can look at videos all day, but until I'm actually doing a job, that's when it clicks for me. So I think you need to be open to all of it, to be honest with you, because you'll just need all of it. I don't know what Roland's experience is.
Definitely 100% what you said. And I also want to add that at RBC, the culture is, it's such a big company. So the culture is that everyone will break down their job for you. Like no one will expect you to just walk in and know exactly what they're doing. We're used to other people in the room not knowing what it is that we do. So there's no surprise or no expectation that, you'll know everything. And I started as a business analyst. So my job was to ask why. And so that made me very comfortable with learning new things. They said, oh, okay, we want a new platform. Why? Because we want to be competitive. Why? Because we want more revenue. Why? Right? You just keep going like that till you get to the core of it. And whoever you're asking these questions to, they better know the answers, because they need to be able to explain their own job. And if they can't explain their own job, then something is wrong. So people will stumble or not know what an acronym is for something they've been doing for a decade. And they say, oh, use DPS. What is DPS? Data protection services. And I'm like, I don't know about that. We both would benefit from Googling this right now, right? So you look for your opportunities to, to crack some humor here and there and just get comfortable. Once you get comfortable, then you don't feel like your questions could be stupid anymore. You have that rapport and you're like, just like, why? Why do you do this? Just because someone is doing something a certain way and they've been doing it for a while, it doesn't mean that is the best way or that, that they're doing it right? So everyone should be open to questions and everyone should be able to break down their jobs. And then on top of that, we have learning resources. We have this thing called RBC Campus, Talent Link, where we go and just learn things. And yeah, asking peers, shadowing people, asking to be included in meetings, just sit in a room and just exist. Sometimes I'm in the room and I add absolutely no value at all, right? But hey, I'm learning something and everyone is happy to let you in. If it's a meeting room, the seats available, I just go in and find out what they're talking about. And I learn. So that's the culture that we have, is that everyone, should be able to break down what they do. Everyone should learn, read, shadow, listen, whatever it is. And I mean, there's always a learning curve in the team that you're working with at all times. There's always someone who's new. There's always a new project manager. There's always a new something. Someone is coming, even internally from a different department. There's always someone around me who has no idea what's going on. So yeah, everyone is always learning all the time. Even within our group that I'm in, we actually ask that people move around to different roles, so that they can learn.
I'm going to add one more thing to that too. When I became a manager specifically too, I had obviously never been a manager before. And so they have courses specific to certain job titles that you can take, because obviously I was new. I was like, I don't know where to start. And so I had a bunch of courses to take for that. Even with my current role, I mean, I did Excel specifically in college, but I'm far removed from college. So I was like, I need to learn Excel. So they do have courses out there for writing, business writing, and other stuff that's just generic to everybody. So if you want to do that, you could do that too. So I've taken that. I took, this is right before the pandemic, I took this growth mindset class that, it just talks about your mindset and how that sets you up for certain things. So I've taken a lot of courses that weren't necessarily even required of me to take it, but I'm one of those people where I'm always just trying to learn. So they also have that opportunity as well.
Yep.
Such good information. Thank you. Good question. I know that, Violet, you talked about different jobs that were available. Would you mind putting those? Is there a link that the students can look at those? Can you put that in the chat?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Let me go ahead and do that. I know that even the flyer that we sent out has actually a direct link also.
Oh, perfect.
But I'm not sure if it's accessible at this time. So I'll go ahead and plug that link in and make sure everybody has access to the jobs.
Okay,
Thank
cool.
you.
And just to confirm, you do have jobs for MBA students as well, or graduate students as well? Okay.
Oh, definitely.
Wonderful.
Do we have any grad students on the line today? Any MBAs? I'd love to hear, what they're thinking around this, and if they've had some career experience and they just want to obviously continue on building from that. So would love to hear their perspective or their experiences on some of those challenges they're facing right now. I'll be happy to kind of give a little bit more insight from my own experience going to grad school. So happy to share.
Oh, everyone's getting shy now. Is that?
I know, it's such a quiet group. This is funny.
Is anybody thinking about just adding in that, Violet, about internships? When I was in college, I interned for the Twins, and I also interned for Special Olympics as well, as their media relations intern. So we also have internships too. I don't know what level some of these people that are here are on as far as grade level in school, if they're freshmen, sophomores, juniors, or seniors. But depending on where you are, internships may be good, because I know RBC, we offer them every summer, at least since I've been here. So that could be also a possibility depending on where you are.
Well, that could be interesting to find out. How about everybody drop in the chat what year you are in school?
Hello. I was going to text in the chat, but I figured I might as well just say it.
Good job.
I'm a sophomore, and I was wondering if I could get one of y'all email so I could get a link to an internship.
Yep, that'll be
Absolutely.
Violet knows all the things.
Yeah, I'll definitely connect you to that. Matter of fact, our campus recruiter is on this call today. Courtney Johnson. She runs an amazing program here at RBC, and once I get your details, I'll be able to connect you with her. So we're just all here to support this process. Like I said earlier, we know it can be daunting, but we just try to make it as easier as possible. And just know that it's okay, regardless of, experience you have, or maybe you're thinking, oh, I don't have that. There's no need to be too concerned about that. We can definitely guide through the process of getting an internship here at RBC. You just have to make sure that you connect with me or Courtney, but I will also share my email address here in the chat and make sure everybody has access to that email as well. Thank you.
Ms. Starks, do you have a question?
Hi, my name is Kimbe Starks. I'm a third-year business administration student at Clark. I don't have a question, but I just had a statement. I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time out of y'all day to come and speak to us, because it is really inspiring to see people of color to be prosperous in their jobs, because, we get spoken to by anybody and everybody every day, but everything doesn't make an impact. And I just want to say this did.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's right. It's great to hear this feedback. I mean, this is why we're doing this, right? This is what, why we're in. This is why we're even in these roles. Like, we don't just think about ourselves. Like, the second we make one step, we look behind and we're like, you guys, we doing this, right? We don't move forward. And I can speak for, I see Siobhan is on the call. Siobhan, Roshana, and myself, we don't move forward without making sure everybody else is okay. When I moved to Texas, I was like, Siobhan actually moved to Texas first, and I was like, how you do it, right? We talk to each other, and how do you like it? How is working from home, like, and then I moved to Texas, right, because of the copycat that I am, and then turned around and said, hey, Roshana, copycat, what you want to do? Texas, right? You have Houston, you have Dallas, pick one. We're not gonna let you just stay back there. It's winter, it's cold, right? So we're happy to hear that, you're inspired or you like what you hear, because we're doing this so that, you have an opportunity and you have access to information.
I actually came from New York because I wanted better opportunities. I was offered to go to different schools, upstate New York, but that just wasn't where my heart was. I knew that I wanted to go down south, or at least out of New York, for better opportunities just in general. So being that y'all came and just up and moved, that kind of sounds like me, because I told my mom, like, I'm going to get this scholarship. I'm going to do whatever I got to do, and I'm going to leave, and I'm going to go to Clark.
Yeah, which is wonderful. I mean, and
you're lucky that. Sorry, go ahead, Roshana.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, and that's good. I mean, one of the things just in general is just knowing or even having an idea, because you may not know exactly where you want to go, but if you have an idea, like Roland said, and I think Violet also said too, then you can just push forward. I forgot to tell y'all, I actually used to live in Georgia. So I lived in Decatur. I don't know if y'all know where this is. It's off of Memorial Drive, right there, kind of by the jail. That's where I lived a long time ago. But if you would tell me then, when I lived on Memorial Drive, back in those apartments, that I'd be where I'm at now, I couldn't even imagine it. So I can't stress enough, please, please, please reach out to us, or at least follow us on LinkedIn, so you can see just different opportunities and connect with people, because relationships, I'm learning, is I've always knew they were important, but I didn't realize how important they were. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, and I was going to say that the U.S. is huge, right? And it's a in terms of opportunities, it's a big playground. You have a lot that you can move to. I mean, for me in France, 1 hour flight, that's it. My country's done. Like and that's the biggest distance. Is 1 hour south. Once you get there, is the water. If I go 1 hour east, I'm already in Germany. If I go 1 hour west, I'm in the Atlantic, right? So it's like, there's not. You mean, this country is big, and there's a lot going on, and you shouldn't be scared to, move temporarily to a place that, of course, you want to go to, or that you like. But you shouldn't be scared to venture out there and find out what a different city feels like, or or looks like. The other thing that I said earlier, and I'm going to say again, it's about the money. This country is also expensive, right? So information is important. Just going in there without the right information and getting a job could be, it could put you in a spot that you don't want to be in, where you're stuck. So this is why we're here, to give you information about, answer any questions you might have, so that you don't accept something that because you don't feel that you have that you deserve more, or that you don't know that you could do more, or that someone would appreciate you for having even 60% of the qualities that they're looking for in a candidate, because they also see that 40% will be easy for you to learn, right? So don't go into thinking that you need to have the 100% or even 80%. Just any job that you apply for is an opportunity for someone to give you feedback on what you need to do, right? Sometimes you're like, hey, I'm not going to apply for this yet, but in 2 years I'll be ready. Don't do that. Apply for this now and let someone tell you that, hey, this 6-month program will get you ready. So now you saved a year and a half, right? So apply, like, and ask, nicely for feedback if you don't get it, so that hey, how can I reasonably get to this role, because it's something that I want. Sometimes we take it personally, where it's like, hey, I didn't get this role, I don't deserve it, it's not for me, and then we don't look at it ever again. No, it's, I didn't get this role at this time, I might have something else to work on. Please give me feedback so I can get where I need to be, right? You deserve the best. Like, you invested in your education, you deserve all this. Like, you deserve the money that comes with it. Because I stress that, because I sometimes in the negotiation, or when I talk about salary, there's a lot of hush hush around money. But I mean, you deserve to be compensated for the work that you do, and RBC definitely believes that as well. I have very healthy discussions about money, with my boss, with my peers. It's we don't. It's not like we go out there sharing our salaries, right? But we know what the range is, and we know how kind of how we're rated, and we all feel comfortable that, okay, I'm seen. I know, I understand the progression. I know where I am. I know what I have to do to go to the next step. So just absorb information, ask for questions, get that information, because sometimes we just go blindly hoping that a way will be made. Nope. Get informed and make your way, because you deserve it.
There's also a book, if anybody is interested. It's called Getting to Yes, Getting to YES, just to make sure I'm clear. It's by Roger Fisher. It's a good way. It teaches you basically how to get people to say yes, to make a long story short. So negotiation, when you said that, Roland, it just kind of made me think about that book. So it's available on Audible and probably some other places. But that could be a resource when you have, spring break, or maybe the summer or something like that, where you can read that book and then just get more information, stuff to help you with your future.
Right. And speaking of negotiation, I was going to say, just piggybacking on that, negotiation is an art, right? And some people feel like negotiation sometimes is the art of hiding your intentions, to just get to the best outcome by just finessing your way around. Negotiation is so much better when the information is out there and communicated, even for a salary, right? Hey, this is the description. I took the liberty of writing down why I meet all the requirements. I feel like I should be in the higher in the higher range, whatever, of this role, period. Not just, but not, no. If you want this, just ask for it. And then if you have the information to justify why you want something, go for it. And then the other person would appreciate you, because you didn't try to finesse things, or say, at my current role, I'm making this, and then inflate your salary. Like, I see that a lot. People change companies, and they say, well, right now I'm making this amount, because they want the other companies to give them that. It comes back to bite you. Just look at objectively, hey, this is the role that you have for me. This is why I think I should be in the upper bracket. And there's no shame in someone saying, but this one and that one, I don't think you're there yet. Oh, okay, my bad. Sorry, I thought I was there, but you know better, so help me get there, right? As opposed to, oh no, I'm not gonna, right? So information helps with negotiation. Information helps you get comfortable information helps you communicate better, and just knowing where you stand, where you are, and what you're moving towards is being in a good place. And I can speak for my environment at RBC is that we know where we are and we know where we're going, and we're encouraged to swim around because it's a big company, and just find out what's going on, right? And your managers don't want to keep you in a role not knowing what's going on out there. They want you to see what's going on out there and to still want to be in your role. So that's how retention works when you have a good manager. They're like, just go out there and find out, and you come back like, oh, I saw, thank you. I'm good here. So information.
Okay, this is such good information. I'm taking notes as well. It's good experience. Okay, well, if there's no further questions, Dr. Young, Professor Clement, do you have anything you'd like to add at the end?
Not really. I think it was an excellent session. I made a lot of notes myself. Most of the things that I want to look up and share with some of the students not here. But I also know the area Ms. Gordon was talking about on Memorial Drive. I just want to say those apartments now, they're selling them at condos, and the minimum price is $800,000 in that whole community.
I saw that. I went to go look. I'm like, I know they ain't selling these apartments for. I lived there in 2002, 2003. That's when I lived there. I'm like, they got the nerve to be selling these apartments like that.
Oh yeah, and there's no shortage of renters and buyers as well. So Atlanta is like growing. But no, it was a great talk. I really appreciate you guys coming and sharing with our students. Thank you.
And I'll echo that, as well as my student, Ms. Starks. It's great to have you all come in and highlight opportunities that may go under the radar for our students. So I really appreciate you not only bringing that to their attention, but also doing so in a way that meets where they are.
Thank you so much. Yeah, this was fantastic. We really appreciate RBC, you guys coming and sharing your time. And this was a great session. Thanks again.
Thank you so much for having us. It's been a pleasure being here. Not a better time than Black History Month. So we just love being a part of the community today, and we just would love to be back and hopefully in person next time, right?
I was gonna say, Violet, I was gonna say, like, I was hoping for some biscuits and gravy, something. I'm like, and now I'm like, what's going on? I'm hungry now. It's all virtual thing.
I know. Yes. Next time, definitely in person.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for having us.
Yes. Thank you.